It says, we recently reported that Michael Carpenter, age 38, was sentenced to life in prison for unaliving his 28-year-old coworker, Nicole Hammond, after she rejected his advances. On October 24th, 2022, he pew-pewed her in the parking lot of their workplace. During sentencing, Carpenter smirked, addressing Hammond's mother, Terry Anderson. Y'all, this is so scary. Hold on. Let me make this bigger because I want y'all to see how this man looks, okay? Because it'd be the people that you least expect. All right, let's go. Can y'all hear? Okay.
Just a little bit, if that's all right.
You may.
I guess one of the things I was kind of thinking about is just, as I'm seeing these slides and hearing what her family had to say, I agree that she was a really amazing person. She was really nice and very caring. She was someone who would listen to you if you had something going on. She was always concerned and caring, and always appreciate that about her. And
okay, so I want y'all to notice he's real chunky, real round. He kind of gets effeminate. I would believe that he liked men, not women. Seems very shy, very timid, very soft spoken. This is not somebody that you would even expect to own a pew pew.
I tried to think of something I would want to say, but there's, like they said, there's no real words that can cover something like that, like losing someone like that.
He even seems like if you talk to him, he would be emotionally intelligent and a good listener. Okay, hold on. Let me see what y'all are talking about. And these are supposed to be our providers and protector SMH. Well, he wasn't giving that. I wasn't getting any of that energy. He looked like he wants to be provided and protected from by another male. I was not getting he likes women's. It's giving I likes men's. It's giving Andrew Caldwell. It's giving I'm delivered. That's what it's giving. I don't disagree with your premise. I have a slight pushback only because when women have a lot of smegs, they lose value because y'all take on too many energies on top of already being emotional. You know what? I don't all the way disagree with what you're saying. We could have a whole conversation about that, but I don't want to get off of this. We will put a pin in that and we'll come back to it on a future day. And they call women the emotional ones. The male ego is so fragile. Man, this was, fragile. And something is clearly wrong with him. No disrespect to women, but men don't go through things like menstrual cycles. Being emotional isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't think being emotional is a bad thing. It's what you do with those emotions. And I mean, statistics show that like men will say they're less emotional, but I could pull it up right now in terms of violence. Men handle their emotions way more violently than women. You're way more likely to get unalived when a man gets severely upset or feels rejected than women. Like women do things like they'll cuss you out or they'll scream or they might call you a whole bunch of times. But the goal is not I gotta unalive you. Now, again, I'm speaking statistically. Yes, there are instances of women who will unalive people when they get upset or get over emotional, but that is not characteristic of what women do. Like that is a very small percentage of women. And when you compare it on a global scale, because it's not even a United States thing. Like if you compare it, I was doing a live with AP on AP for Life. And we had to pull it up. When you compare it on a global scale, it's not even close. The statistics for violence with men versus women. Like, it's nowhere near close. All right, guys, y'all go ahead and hit the like button. And again, I'm not trying to bash men. It is what it is.
So all I can say is that she was amazing, and I appreciate you guys for making her the kind of person that she was.
Michael Jordan Carpenter, you were found guilty by a jury of committing the offense. The court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for life imprisonment without possibility of release.
A Minnesota man, Michael Jordan Carpenter, has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the death of his coworker, Nicole Hammond.
And she looks so nice and sweet. She looks like the type of girl who maybe other women in the office stayed away from him because they thought he was the weirdo, but she was the one who actually tried to be nice and sweet and kind to him. That's what her vibes give. You know, she gives the type that, oh, I'm going to talk to him, I'm going to listen to him. How do I know this? I used to be that person in the workplace who I would see, okay, this guy is kind of weird, but other people shun them or talk about them or make them feel isolated. So I'm going to not make them feel isolated. And sure enough, eventually it would just get weird. So sometimes trying to be a good Samaritan can backfire if you're dealing with a real weirdo. Somebody said, all that sugar in his tank, and he literally took someone's life because they didn't want to date him. Man, give him the chair. Someone said he's still obsessed with her. This was disturbing to watch. Yeah, he seems like he still sits up and think about her. And honestly, he probably does not care that he's in jail. You got to think about it. A man like that probably didn't have much of a social life anyways outside of jail. Probably went to work and came home. Wasn't getting anything from anybody, be it male or woman. Now he's in jail. 3 hots in a cot, so he doesn't have to work. Okay, he's around a whole bunch of men he can socialize with. And on top of that, it's plenty of men that, you know, get down like that. So it's not like he's going to have to go without getting some pussy. He's probably getting more in jail than what he ever got out of jail. It's a win. You see, he ain't crying. He ain't teared up, nothing. You know, people weaponize the word emotional skinny. Yeah, they do. They do. It's nothing. There's nothing wrong with emotions. There's nothing wrong with having feelings. It's what you do with them that matters. It's okay. And then don't let your emotions get in the way of rational thought as well, you know. But we all, men and women, we all have emotions. We just deal with everything differently. Yeah, so he's having a jolly time in jail. I can tell you right now. That's the most meaning he's ever had in life, being in jail. And he probably getting on his knees and doing all that in jail. So that's not a punishment for a psycho like him, who probably didn't even have a social life, who people probably didn't even fool with him like that anyways, because they could tell that he was a weirdo. So it's the win. It's the win for this man. Okay. Let's see what else was said. He didn't even look regretful. He looked like he was fantasizing about her that whole speech. Someone said, may he learn about unwanted advances from men in prison. Are we sure he's not going to want them? It was giving sugar in the tank. Y'all remember that dude who unalived that woman? I talked about it a couple lives ago. He looked real sweet. The woman got on the internet and they had been together for 20 years. She found out he was on the DL. He harassed her for like a couple of years. They went to a court hearing so she could get a restraining order against him. And he unalived her right outside the courthouse. And I was going to say, and I forgot to say that during this video, that when you leave a man, you should not out him. Like, if you have to leave a man and he did something correct, you shouldn't out him, because that makes it more likely that he'll be violent and dangerous. And I'm going to stand by that. But then you have situations like this with the coworker, that even if you try to politely reject a person and just go on about your business and not raise too much smoke, that they're going to unalive you anyway. So this is honestly one of those things where, you know, your time is just your time. But I will say that we need to trust our intuition. That is the main lesson of everything that I'm talking about today. When